This is the 2026 Ford F250 Platinum Tremor, and it is the ultimate HD truck. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We're in Stonewall, Louisiana today at All-Star Ford, formerly Jimmy Grande. For those of you that might wonder, if you want to know more about this truck, check out the link down in the description of the video. And there's one thing in particular that this truck has that if you're looking at a GMC or a Chevrolet, you won't find. I'll show you what that is on the interior in just a little bit. But as we look here at the front end, a very aggressive and tough looking truck, which is exactly what it is. You're going to find full LED lighting here on the front end. I like the way these headlights are designed. LED daytime running lights. Now we have the turn signal indicator right here. LED projector beam headlights, and right down here we're going to finish it all off with the LED fog lights. You can see the sensors that are here across the front end. That means you got a lot of great safety features, all that good functionality. We do have some gloss black here, but I think it's in the right place because we have a matte finish down here on the lower portion where you're likely to get those little rocks and things that will come up just driving down the road. But this finish down here, more of a matte finish, will not show that quite as easily as the gloss will. Recovery hooks right here, nice and strong. The large Ford logo, and you'll have your front camera right here, the forward-facing camera. Now, this truck will come in four-wheel drive. And in this particular case, these are going to be the 18-inch wheels. Tell me what you think about the design. I really think that works very well with this truck with a couple of different finishes that are on there. Our F250 logo and the Platinum logo right here. When it comes to the side view mirrors, everything that you want is going to be here. Turn signal indicators are built in. They're heated. They're power adjustable. You have blind spot monitoring, and they're also not only going to be power folding, we're going to fold those in and then we're going to fold those back out, but as you would expect with an HD truck, and all of this is power adjustable. So you're just going to hold the button down. I'll show you where this is later in the video in the interior, but you can extend them out for towing. That makes things nice and easy to deal with. Now, one thing that I really like on these trucks, not only do you have the button for passive entry right here where you can lock and unlock the interior, but you also have your keypad right here. So if for some reason you wanted to leave the remote in the truck and you're off running or jogging, whatever the case is, and you don't want that remote in your pocket, you don't want to lose it, you can just lock everything with that keypad and you're good to go. Not something that very many vehicles offer in this day and age. Now we're going to have our assist steps right here. This truck does sit fairly high off the ground. It is affixed in place. It's not power, but that's okay. It's going to have that graphite finish on it, so it's got that nice textured surface so that you don't end up slipping when you're trying to get inside. And right down here we'll have our 6.7 liter Power Stroke logo. That tells you what's under the hood. Plenty of horsepower and torque where this truck is concerned. We're going to have a 34-gallon fuel tank. Obviously, you're going to have to take care to make sure you keep the diesel exhaust fluid filled, something we don't really need, but it is there. And you're going to have your step right here that makes it easy to gain access to and from the front of the bed. Just make sure you're good and limber, because boy, that is, you really have to get up there to do that. That's pretty high up there. And our Tremor logo is going to be right here. We're going to finish things off here on the rear, once again with LED lighting just as we had on the front. And you're going to have this gloss area with the stamped Super Duty logo. One of our many LED lights that help out with things. In this case, it's going to be helping you out with hitching up to a trailer back here. You've got everything in the bed that's ready to receive the fifth wheel or the gooseneck. I'm going to drop the tailgate real fast here just so we can show you some of that a little bit easier. 4,048 pounds of payload. You can tow up to 22,000 pounds conventional, 23,000 pounds if you go fifth wheel or gooseneck. But let me show you something here that's really nice. And I know a lot of people are going to like this. First of all, here is our remote. Lock, unlock, remote start. You can open and close the tailgate, and that's the big thing here. So here's the deal. We're going to hit that twice to open the tailgate. That is a convenience. You do have the step right here, the tailgate step that makes things easy to get in and out. So you're going to pull that down just like that. We're going to pull the handle, and then we can hop on up in and out of the bed with that. But the good thing about that, with the GMCs and the Chevrolets, if you go with the multi-pro tailgate, you can only use the power down feature. But with this tailgate, guess what? Not only can you power it down, you can also power it back up. I just hit the button on the remote right there. That takes care of that. You also have one additional way to gain access to and from the bed, which is going to be the bumper step right here on the corner. Under the hood is the 6.7 liter high output power stroke diesel. 500 horsepower and 1,200 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. All right, let's talk about what your second row passengers, backseat passengers, are going to find. We'll start with the door panel right here. There is a ton of room. We take a look. I'll let my cameraman show you what's going on over there with that side so you can see it a little bit closer. Tons of space, a little bit of a cup holder up there or whatever you want to fit in that area. The door bin itself has another bottle holder in it and plenty of space. In fact, we really have the lower and the upper door bin areas. This upper one's a little bit smaller than the lower, but it still gets the job done. And one thing that you will not find on any Chevrolet or GMC, the competitors here, is what we have right here, a panoramic sunroof. You do have the power shade. They can be drawn back and forth, and that front portion over the front seat area will tilt and slide open. I will raise this area. Obviously over there on that side you can do that as well, but we have all the space underneath, a lot of storage, the tools to change a tire, which by the way, obviously there is a spare tire with this truck to be located underneath the bed back there. That makes things nice and easy if you happen to need to change that. We're gonna have our rear window defogger and our sliding rear window. And thankfully, this truck is really high up, and today we did legs at the gym. I need this grab handle to hop on up in here. We'll have the rear seat pockets on the back of each seat. Couple of cup holders right here. We're also going to have everything for our heated seats. We have USB connectivity right here, a 120 volt power outlet. Make things nice and easy. There's your air conditioning vents. And then if you need more cup holders, there's more. One thing I will say, good job Ford. Most automakers don't have these vertical cup holders. Why do I like that? Well, when they're parallel like this, like they normally are, if you put a bottle in one or the other, well, then it's a lot harder to use as an armrest. When there's a bottle in each one here, you can still use this for its intended purpose, although it is a multitasker. One thing for sure, there is no shortage of space back here whatsoever. Leg space, head space, plenty of room, very comfortable. We're going to give you a little bit of a different view of the front seat this time. Tell us what you think about this. Normally the cameraman's in the passenger seat. This might be a better deal. Tell us what you think. The sticker price, $103,990. Don't tell anybody who asks in the comment section about that. Tell them to watch the whole video like you did. Let's see what else you get for that price. Power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger with lumbar support, heated and ventilated, and we're going to have our upper glove box right there. We're also going to have the lower glove box right here, a nice amount of space, and again, the nice large door bins and armrests on both doors. One thing I really like here is your auxiliary switches right here. So if you want to wire in a light bar or a winch or whatever you need, you're going to have that available to just wire right into, and then you just have to know which one you wired to and you're good to go. That is convenient. There is the sunglass holder. You're going to have your map lights and the controls up here for opening your power shade for the sunroof. Control the sunroof here. We also have this for our rear window, which is power, by the way. And I'm going to grab the camera real quick just to make this a little bit easier to show you what's on the driver's side door. Everything for seat memory, lock and unlock. Here's where you extend out those trailering mirrors, just like that. We're going to hold that down and then bring those back in. Everything for folding the mirrors, locking the windows if you need to do that, and controls for your side view mirror adjustments and your power windows. Everything for your lighting is right here. You can see all of the different features and functionality there. You can also open and close the tailgate from this area. And your power parking brake is here. And here's something nice. Right here is the fact that you have this button that allows for changing the position of the pedals. So if you need to bring those in or bring those out, you're good to go. And I'm going to hand the camera back here. All of your steering wheel mounted controls are here. Depending on what you need to do, you can go through quite a few different things on the driver's display. Depending on what you need to go into, we can go to towing. We push OK right there. That lets us go in there. There are quite a few sub menus here, but you know what? It's still pretty easy to deal with. Just that simple. If you want the compass up, that's how you're going to do it. We can hit the back button and go back out of that. You see how this works. We're not going to spend a ridiculous amount of time there, but you can obviously control things like the radio, all that's here, cruise control, voice commands, everything is here. This is a heated steering wheel, by the way. The button for that is right down here. That's on right now. I don't really need that on. You have the 3 stages of heat and 3 stages of cool. That's a good thing. And something else that's here that I think a lot of people might like, there's a big difference in the design of the shifter compared to what's on the GMCs and Chevrolets, the Silverados and the Sierras. And that's the fact that this doesn't come out as far. So a lot of people will say it blocks the screen. From where I'm sitting, I can see everything on the screen just fine. No big deal where that is concerned. And if you're using your trailer brake or your exhaust brake, I should say, you can use the selections right there to change gears if you need to, or whatever the situation is. There might be a few different reasons why you need to do that, but obviously you can manually go through the gears in that 10-speed automatic transmission. Here's the button for starting and stopping the engine, and then we're going to have our screen right here that has quite a bit going on as far as that is concerned. We're going to go through just a couple of different things just to show you what's here. Once again, you're going to have towing right here on the screen. And again, quite a bit to go through, but don't let that scare you off. I know a lot of people will say there's a lot of sub-menus on different vehicles. This one does have a few, but not necessarily that big of a deal. I think it gets the job done. You have your lighting right here, depending on how you want to set things up. And we're going to hit override right there. Your zone lighting. So I don't know that we're going to be able to do too much with that, but not going to be able to show it to you, but we can kind of show you how it works because it's so bright outside. But you can see on the screen what is lit and what isn't. So if you don't want the bed and this rear area that we showed you earlier to be illuminated, or the sides, you can turn that on and off, or you can do all zones and turn it all on and all off at the exact same time. But there's how that's going to work. Just some of those little features. You're obviously going to have all of your navigation right there, so you know you have built-in navigation. And if you want to see your camera views, here's the button to do that. You don't have to be in reverse to do that. You've got several different views, including that overhead view. We're going to come right here and bring out our menu for all of the different views. So depending on what you want to see, here are your different options. Your bed view right there. We're going to go back here. Doesn't stay up very long, but you can see what's going on where that's concerned. I'm just going to run through these real fast just so you can see what all is here. So quite a few different views for quite a few different situations, depending on what you need. Go back and leave the camera on right there. And we're also going to be able to, for trailering, you push this button, that brings up this view right here. So you have that opportunity where that is concerned. We also have everything for your trailer brake control right here, and then our drive mode selector. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come up to the driver's display right here, and we're going to work through the multiple driving modes. Now, here's what we're actually going to start with. So eco mode, even though that's your default, will be normal. So we're going to have eco, and then we work our way over to tow haul mode. You can see the trailer behind the truck right there. You're going to have normal, and then we're going to have slippery. Hit OK right there. That's going to let you know what's going on with your tires as far as your traction goes right there on the screen. Nice graphics, something that Ford does very well. And then we'll work our way over here to off-road. And notice what happens on the screen. Number one, we're going to have this area of the screen come up to let you know what's going on, and then also your status right here on the screen as well, on the driver's display. Also what you have over there on that center screen. And then we're going to go back out of this. You also have your rock crawl mode, and again, the graphics that go with that. And then when you get to the last mode, which I have right here, when you start turning to the right, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to stay in that mode. So we're going to turn back to the left, and that will allow you to go back through your other modes, just so you're able to see what goes on where that is concerned. And I don't know how easy it is to see, but above the center screen, we're going to have a little bit of storage space right here. That's always nice to have as we work our way down. Here are the controls for the radio, volume, and going through your different stations. You can see a few of the other features that are here as far as that goes. Dual zone climate control is here. We covered your heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. Wireless charging pad is here, and a couple of USB ports. Now I'm going to conceal that away. Very nice looking cover. Now, we also have another 120 volt power outlet, but if you watched earlier in the video when I talked about something that the Chevrolets and the GMCs don't have, here it is, the 12 volt power outlet. That's something that I know a lot of you want. I own a GMC Sierra 2500. I had to buy a USB to 12 volt adapter to take care of everything for me. And here's something I like that I haven't seen in any other truck. If you don't have enough cup holders in the front and you want as many as you have in the rear, guess what? You can do that by simply sliding this area over right here. And instead of having 2 cup holders, now you have 4. When you don't want to use that, you can push that back over. Plenty of space right here for storage. And there is a ton of space here in the center console. Let's see if we can show that to you right there. This tray is removable, and you have your slots here for all of your coins. Won't be able to put pennies in there like you used to be able to, could you? Or can you? But tons of room here. No one's going to take that away from you. Tons of room as far as the center console goes. And then this can slide back and forth to make it easier to gain access to that area when it comes to whatever you need to get to. Okay, here we go on the test drive with the F250. And a couple of things I did not cover earlier in the video. There's just a lot to talk about here, that's for sure. And we're going to run the windshield washer fluid real fast just to get the windshield cleaned off. You have a head-up display here that is nice and bright. Plenty of information to display on there. Depending on what you want to see, you can adjust that. You also have a power adjustable, tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. So if you need to make adjustments to that, the button is on the left-hand side of the steering column, and that makes things nice and simple. This truck will definitely get up and go when you need it to get up and go. Plenty of horsepower, plenty of torque, not only for just driving down the road, but also for your towing. You're going to have an easy time doing that. It'll tow so much weight. Does a great job where that's concerned. And the interior is very comfortable. For being such a large HD truck, you might be surprised that it rides well. In fact, it's so big that sometimes you feel like you're driving a little slower than you really are. So I need to slow down some here. But this truck is enjoyable to drive. Now, you do have all of those different camera views. Obviously, you're not going to have the ability to have a nice tight turning radius. So in those situations, when you need to see what's going on around you, well, you can bring the cameras up and see that. Technology here is easy to learn and use. That's always nice. Like I said, there are a few sub-menus you might have to deal with at times, but overall, it's not difficult to learn, not difficult to use. And a lot of adjustability built here into the driver's seat. So if somebody's driving who maybe isn't used to driving this truck, or depending on your height, you can adjust everything accordingly depending on what you need to do where that is concerned. Now, I'm going to show you one thing that I know a lot of people ask about. Can you leave the cameras on when you're driving? You can see right there that you cannot do that. That's one thing that is a difference between the GM products compared to the Ford, is that you can leave those cameras on while you're driving if you want to. I know a lot of people ask me about that. I don't know why you would want to, but people ask to do that. But that is a difference here. You're not going to be able to do that as far as this truck is concerned. But overall, if you're looking for a top-notch HD truck, this is definitely one you should consider. And there it is, the 2026 Ford F250 Platinum Tremor. It definitely has a lot of features, and that one main thing that I know a lot of you have told me you wished the GMCs or the Chevrolets had, and that is the 12-volt power outlet. It is here. Good to know that. That's a checkbox, or a box you can check off, I should say. Thumbs up on that. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at All-Star Ford. Still getting used to saying that after all the years of calling it what it used to be. All-Star Ford here in Stonewall, Louisiana, for loaning us this truck for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to us. Please be sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out one of the videos that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.